Assalamu alaikum everyone, I'm Muhammad Wahab, and in today's video I will show you how to design presentation slides using Microsoft PowerPoint and how to effectively present your research findings. As a first step, before diving into the design process of your presentation slides, it is important to understand your target audience. Let me share my own PhD thesis presentation experience. At first, I designed colorful slides. However, during the pre-defense phase, while preparing for the final presentation, the panel recommended moving away from the colorful theme. Instead, it was advised to opt for simplicity with a clean white background. And the rationale behind this advice was twofold. Firstly, given that the presentation was academic in nature, the consensus was to maintain a minimalistic approach. Secondly, the colorful themes made it difficult to clearly see the content on the multimedia projector board. Hence, the panel strongly suggested a white background. Therefore, as a first step before preparing any presentation, it's important to understand your audience first and choose colors for your slides accordingly. Also, make sure the colors of your presentation appear correctly on different devices and screens before you finalize it. Okay, your first slide, which is the title slide, is the first impression your audience will have of your research. Therefore, it's essential to make it clear, professional, and engaging. Okay, the title slide should include the title of your thesis, your name, and your advisor or your research thesis supervisor name. Also, add the university logo or institution logo for a professional touch. You can also mention your university or institution name and the academic unit you are associated with, like department or program name. In my case, it was Department of Management Sciences. Remember, the key is to keep the design clean and easy to read. Use fonts and colors that are professional and aligned with your institution's guideline. Okay, the second slide is about the outline of your presentation. The outline slide provides a structured overview of what the examiner's panel can expect from your thesis presentation. I have only included the important headings that are usually part of most presentations. You can customize it according to your actual thesis content. Each section can be further broken down into subsections as needed, and you can add or adjust slides to provide more detail about each part of your thesis. Okay, the third slide is about the background and context of your research. By explaining the background and context in your thesis presentation, you provide your audience with a foundation for understanding the relevance and importance of your research. Also, the background and context portion of your presentation builds the narrative that culminates in your research problem statement. After explaining the background of the research problem to be addressed, try to mention the factors that contributed to its emergence. It's better to add visuals like this to your slides, as it will help simplify complex concepts and will make your presentation more memorable and easier to understand. If you are interested in creating graphs and animations like this, consider subscribing to my channel, as I plan on making a video soon on various tricks for making graph animations. After explaining the factors, provide a clear and concise statement specifying the issue that your research aims to address. The problem statement basically highlights the gap in the current knowledge or practice that your research seeks to fill. This gap could arise from unanswered questions, conflicting findings, or new developments in the field. Lastly, explain why filling this gap is so important and how your research might affect society, policy, and practice. Okay, if relevant, briefly explain how the problem statement relates to the existing literature on the next slide. Highlight only important studies that have shaped current knowledge and that has led you to recognize your research problem. Also, it's important or better to present a summary of the literature review in the form of a table. This is a sample of the literature table that includes information about the citations or the sources, the country where the study was conducted, the sample size variables considered, analysis technique used, and findings or conclusions drawn from the study. Please note that these components are only included for your guidance. You can add or remove information as you see fit. Remember that a well constructed problem statement will support you in the rest of your research process, from designing research objectives to designing methodologies, analyzing data, and drawing conclusions. Okay, on the next slide, you can present specific research objectives or research questions that your study will address, and these stems directly from the problem statement you have identified. Research objectives and research questions can also be presented on a separate slide. Now, coming to the next slide, which is about the research methodology. Here, you need to explain how you have addressed your research objectives or research questions. Firstly, discuss the type of research design you have selected, such as qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, and explain the rationale for selecting your research design. Secondly, explain the sampling strategy. Was it random, stratified, or convenient sampling technique, and why it was appropriate to use? In addition to describing your sampling strategy, describe the population of your study and sample size considered for analysis. Thirdly, specify the data collection methods you have used in your research. This usually involves survey, interviews, observations, experiments, content analysis, or archival research. Fourthly, explain the analysis techniques used. This might include qualitative methods like thematic analysis, content analysis, or quantitative methods like statistical analysis, which may include regression or any other modeling, statistical modeling. Next slide is about the data presentation. On this slide, discuss your research findings. You can use tables, graphs, charts, or narrative descriptions to convey results. As visual speaks louder than words, I have developed this do not chart to present the descriptive analysis portion of my study. If you are interested in presenting a large number of socio demographic variables in one do not chart, click on the link in the description below. Finally, draw conclusions based on your analysis and explain the theoretical contributions of your studies and practical implications of your study in detail. Also, acknowledge any limitations or constraints that might have affected the study. Finally, express gratitude to the audience for their attention and participation. A question and answer session following a thesis presentation is a valuable opportunity for the audience to seek clarification and engage in a meaningful discussion. Consider potential questions that might arise based on your presentation. Think about areas where your research might be unclear or controversial. Preparing answers in advance can help you respond confidently. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.